Greetings, petrolheads. Welcome back to Automation, the car company tycoon game. Today, I'm gonna continue the review series and take a look at the Chason by Cody Caps. Now, this is a startup car. Like you can see the date, 1945. He says Caps Automotive started out buying Chrysler flathead engines and then modified them. Okay, so this is a sedan. This is a larger one, like the one we started out with in our campaign. So let's see what it's made of. It is probably, yeah, a steel leather chassis, then longitudinal engine placement, double wishbone suspension all around, huh? That's it's very interesting and fancy for 1945. And then aluminium panel materials. Yeah, aluminium was more common than steel back then, weirdly enough, but you know, as far as looks go, I kind of like this one. I think it's good. I mean, it doesn't have indicators on the front, but you can always imagine them being like here on the chrome bumper or something. Usually you remember cars from the 40s with like gigantic headlights up here or something on the quarter panel, but he did it differently. He placed two smaller ones a little bit more to the center, and also he's put some chrome stripes here. Unfortunately, they punch holes into the body panels sometimes when they're larger, but that's not a big problem, I think. Yeah, so the doors open in two different, like one opens up to the front and the other one opens to the reverse. I forgot that little word. It's okay though. We only get these red taillights. There's no indicators on the rear either, but again you can imagine them being on this bumper. Caps Automotive is what he calls his company. He's got a pretty nice logo here. That is the where is it? That is this one right here. And some chrome on the rear. I'm not sure if I like the arrangement with these two. Oh wait, that's not two. Oh, okay, I see. That's two more kind of holes that he punched into the body. Not intentionally, but it just happened by the way that he arranged his fixtures. Okay, so that's fine. Looks, I pretty much like him. Yeah, I kind of like him. Engine is an N96 with a cast iron block, massive stroke, pretty low bore, pushrod head. We got a cast iron crank, heavy duty cast conrods and pistons. Oh yeah, otherwise the engine makes too much torque. Interesting. Relatively low, but not really that low of a cam profile. We went lower on our cars so far in the campaign. Which is not to say that it's better or worse, but it's just different. And the compression is extremely low. I think you can up that a little bit more. That it is naturally aspirated. We get a single barrel carburetor with twin carburetor configuration and a performance intake. Now I gotta say, the performance intakes, the red kind of filter structure, that looks pretty cool, especially when you have like one large one going all the way along this side of the engine, and it has the performance intakes. That looks really cool. Yeah, we're running on 92 regular leaded fuel. 13.7 fuel mixture, 50 ignition timing, 3400 RPM rev limit. That is a really low rev limit. But again, in the 40s, engines didn't really rev that high. So we got tubular headers, which is pretty fancy for the time, but it's okay. No cat, obviously, only one muffler, and a result of 119 horsepower, 255 newton meters. Those are decent stats. Reliability is good, 36.2. And if we up the compression a little bit more, so we use the 92 run, then we get a couple of more horsepower. We actually get 10 more newton meters of torque. Yeah, that's not too insignificant. It can actually make a difference. As far as transmission goes, we get a 3-speed manual. It is limited to 100 miles an hour, it seems. Open differential, of course. Hard long life road tires, and we get a pretty good balance here between sportiness and drivability. Like 0.9 to 0.9 is like really good, very well balanced between the two. 13-inch rims, we still have room for 165 millimeter tires though. That's cool. 165 millimeters is obviously not very much, but it is adequate for this amount of power in 1945. Steel rims, because there's nothing else. Drum brakes all around. But there is some more size to be interesting. You can make them bigger here. I don't know why you didn't. That will increase drivability and sportiness. It would get rid of some of the brake fade. It would make it stop a lot faster. But I mean, it's okay. That's just a smaller thing. Again, it can make a difference. How much of a difference is, remains to be seen. We should try that out. Cooling airflow is a little bit higher than necessary. We get a handmade interior with luxury AM radio, entertainment, and advanced safety. So this is, you can't have more than that in 1945 as far as interiors go. Standard springs, twin tube dampers, passive sway bars, as is usual. And again, like a really well balanced suspension setup here between sportiness and drivability. Also, the comfort is good at 32. Prestige 30.9 in 1945. That's really high. Probably down to the handmade interior and the luxury entertainment. And then safety is, doesn't get that high in 1945 because advanced 1940s safety is like by far outdated 1980s safety or something like that. Like it always depends on what time you're in. 27.3 safety though is by today's standards. By 1940s standards, the safety would be up there. Like it would probably be around, I don't know, at least 70, if not 80. Okay, so how does this car perform? 14 seconds from 0 to 100, 160 kilometers an hour top speed. That's not really what this car is built for, though. It is decently quick for its time, though. Like it back in the 40s, there was just a different mentality, just a completely different era. There was no such thing as, a Smart with 120 horsepower. That just didn't exist. Or a Fiat 500 with 150 horsepower. That kind of thing just, yeah, didn't even exist back then. Having over 100 horsepower was something for the more premium cars. If you look back, the Volkswagen Beetle had about 20 horsepower, which is kind of the average car back then, and this one has 6 times as much. So you can imagine this is pretty much like, I don't know, Aston Martin kind of class for its day and age. And for that, in that aspect, it does really well. Actually, it is, again, the suspension is really well balanced. You can optimize the engine a little bit more if you give it some more compression. That actually improved economy by half a liter per 100 kilometers. That's, I would say, a pretty meaningful difference. And comfort is slightly down, costs are slightly up, but well, how much does it cost even? 23,000 in today's money. It is really good in sport, like it's green almost everywhere, but it has more of the tendency towards this side of the market sections, whereas my cars so far have been more along, like from here towards this side of the market sections. So this one is more of a sport, super, GT, luxury car, more of a prestigious car, something more expensive for sure, that can also perform pretty well for its day and age, of course. What else was, the brakes. If we go to the highest size here, we get a boost in drivability of bringing it up to 25. Stopping distance is now 7 meters shorter, and 7 meters is a lot. It really is a lot. Sport is now up to 170.1. If we make the pad type a little bit more comfortable, back to 50. Oh, that'll actually reduce drivability and sportiness. I knew it would reduce sportiness, but I thought it might add a little bit of drivability, but it didn't. So back to where it was. Overall, like, apart from these two optimizations, you did a really good job setting this car up. I don't really know why you added the kind of artificial speed limiter at 160 kilometers an hour. It's not really necessary, but again, cars back then didn't really have that high of a top speed, so it doesn't matter that much. It was an achievement to reach 100 kilometers an hour to begin with in the 40s, so going 160 is certainly not bad. So overall, pretty nice job, Cody. These two optimizations that I've shown you would improve a couple of stats. Other than that, maybe some smaller things like lowering the cooling airflow to the required amount would make it go a little bit faster and use a little bit less fuel. Apart from that, pretty good car. Thank you for sending it in, and thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like or a comment, and I will see you next time.